the dust of the veldt where the wind does moan. We've carved out a life in the soil and stone. They call us names, but we stand up tall. For faith and family, we've weathered it all. Raise the flag high, let the colors fly. With our hands we've built under God's own sky. No insult can break what's forged in our soul. Africa and her heart steadfast and whole. They say we're dogs, they say we're small, but we've built empires and answered the call. With the earth in our palms and the sun on our backs, we march to the rhythm of unbroken tracks. Through the storms and strife we hold the line. The roots run deep like the old oak spine. Pride in our spirit, love in our veins. The faith of our fathers forever remains. Raise the flag high, let the colors fly. With our hands we've built under God's own sky. No insult can break what's forged in our soul. Africa and her heart steadfast and whole. Through the years and miles we've walked this road, bearing the burdens, carrying the load. But the light of our fire, it will never fade. For the strength of our people will never be swayed.
Hey folks, welcome back to the Sunday Refugee Kaffee Klatsch. I'm fresh out of Kaffee because I don't drink coffee. It's an evil substance invented by Satan, so I'll drink some iced tea. Pleasure to have you join me once again. So I want to clarify a few things about the refugee program. Number one, you will be given $10 million, a 7-bedroom house with 3 bathrooms located on a beautiful coastal location in California or the Eastern Seaboard. Everyone will be issued with a Tesla car as well as a Porsche Cayenne SUV. You will be given an instant $10 million retirement account on top of that. And we will give you tickets to the Super Bowl, to the FIFA World Cup, as well as the Rugby World Cup that's taking place in the United States. And you'll be guest of honor at Donald Trump's 250th anniversary of the United States independence on July 4th of 2026. The refugee program is amazing. I encourage everyone to sign up for it. If you haven't done already, you're really missing out. The only thing better than the refugee program would be, I don't know, the South African lottery. So feel free to sign up for it, folks. Oh, look, I'm sorry. I'm just so tired of the nonsense and stupid stuff. I'm not picking on people, but I mean, people coming in now 5 months after the fact and asking what you do, and a full 2 months after the embassy announced the statement of interest, and people asking, where do I find this at? I mean, look, I'm not picking on people. I understand that a lot of people don't know about this for whatever reason, but it's a bit crazy. So are we back? We never left. Still want to camp in my backyard. You haven't been in my backyard. It's wet. It's wet, wet, wet. I've asked all the questions I needed to, and now it's time, just a matter of time, and there's nothing more to ask. Yep. Hey, RSA Bardo Electrical, welcome to you. Yes, Milk and Honey, that's what I said. I know there are a lot of people who don't even know there's a refugee program, and those who know have been told something different by evildoers. So we'll all be there by the 4th of July. See, that's what the room will start now. We'll all be there by the 4th of July. We have waterproof tents. Well, you can have water-resistant tents, but there's no such thing as a waterproof tent. Enough rain will get through eventually. Lekker kakprat. Zombie, hello to you. Who came up with this nonsense? Louis, I don't know, man. I'm just reporting the news. Johan Bernard. Anyway, what did I miss? Somebody will probably steal that content, make a video of it, and lie. You know, refugees that are arriving. Do you perhaps know if there are still 3 interviews? Okay, get over. Okay, stop. Obviously, you're not watching my content. Just chill. We did interviews this past week. I did one with Earl Langton. You all need to get out of this 3 interview bullshit. I don't know where you get this from. Stop obsessing about the 59ers. It does not apply. What they did is not what you're doing to get here. They're not the same thing. They didn't fill out a statement of interest. They were part of a pilot project. I don't know why it's so hard for people to understand this. I've only said this 1,000,000 times. Okay, 700,000 times. Stop. You might not even be called in for an interview. We don't know. Every case is different. You get called in for an interview, and then they find something in your background check, and you have to explain it to them. So you get called in for another interview, or they don't. What does it matter if you called in for 3 interviews? I mean, I'm not picking, but why do you ask that question? Why does it matter? Either you're going to come or you're not going to come. So, I mean, I'm asking the question because I think I know why. You're probably saying, well, I got to come up with more money to go for another trip. Well, tell them that. I don't have any more money to come. Can we do it over the phone? All right. So, you know, I mean, is the deal? It's like the immunizations. Well, I'm not going. You're going to give me the COVID jab. No one said anything about COVID jab. Pay attention to what I'm saying. Listen, don't just make false assumptions. No one said you're getting COVID. It's not required to enter the United States. But you must get an influenza vaccine. At least the first groups have come over and gotten it. First numbers of people have all gotten it. Otherwise, they didn't come. Well, I'm not coming. Well, good for you. Good for you. That saves me tax dollars. That's one less house that's going to be taken off the market. One less apartment we have to worry about. So, yeah, that's fine. If getting influenza jab isn't your cup of tea, then that's fine. That's your prerogative. But don't attack me because you got a hair up your ass. That's not my issue. That's not my issue. That's your personal problem. Not mine. Not mine. I had to get a unnecessary, wasted $130 yellow fever vaccine because you're corrupt officials at OR Tambo. Nothing I can do about that. That's life. That's it. There's no mRNA in the influenza jab, Hank. Stop spreading fake information around. Anyway, so same thing with the interviews. So if you get called in once, they call you in again. And you're not, I've already been in. I'm not coming in. I've already answered your damn questions. Leave me alone. Okay, you're not going. Who had a loss here? Chat's getting very busy here very quickly, so let me see. I didn't see who it was. Let me try to go back and see if there's anything of note I need to address here. Hello to everybody. I'm going to skip. At least there's 4 dealerships. Of course there's 4 dealerships. There's one just down the road from me. It's one of the largest in the state. Someone in Ronaldo's chat said it's confirmed interviews. It's not confirmed for me. People spreading rumors is not a confirmation. Nobody has contacted me. That's the thing. I immediately have suspicion. When all these people all over South Africa and even American officials look at me as a refugee guy, and then no one tells me about this sort of thing, that doesn't mean it isn't true, but it immediately raises my suspicion radar. Well, wait a second. If that's true, why don't I know about it? Because I've pretty much been right in predicting or being informed about things all along. So doesn't mean I wouldn't know. Bugger off bunny. Hey, I like that username. And that was also mentioned in my stream before Ronaldo's. That doesn't make... So you heard it mentioned here, you heard it mentioned there. It doesn't make it true. Doesn't make it untrue. Doesn't make it true, though. All right. Man, you got to love all the songs. Thank you for that, Sonia. Okay. Unless you know info for fact, don't share it. That's right, Kimlin. Mayor, I agree with you. Yeah, if it were in KZN, why would it be in Pinetown? That seems ludicrous. Why wouldn't it be in Durban? You go to the big population center, not a minor little spot on the outskirts. Andre Mostard, hello to you. Yeah, somebody's trying to people for a ride. Like a certain guy saying, I can get you on a list. Give me this money and I'll get you on a list. We'll be the first refugees to go. And then when the first refugees go and he's not on the boat, he makes a video attacking me. Well, that Colonel Wyatt, I went to his meet and greet and I wasn't impressed. But just send me more money. We're going to make sure we get... I don't know how this first group got over there. I mean, we're still trying to figure that one out. I mean, they weren't part of this group that, you suckers sent me all your money. So I don't know how they pulled that off, but I'm going to send me more money and we'll get you over there. Wow. Yeah, suckers. I don't think people really realize how lucky we are that we have the Colonel is giving so much of his valuable time to answer questions and comment. Yeah, thank you, Lynette. I mean, this is my life force. every day. I'm giving up my life every day. I could be golfing right now. It's a beautiful Sunday. It's only 85, which is tolerable. Not my cup of tea, but it's tolerable. It's 15 degrees cooler than it was last week. Yeah, I could be golfing right now. I could be going out to the creek, hanging out down by the Yellow Breeches Creek. I could be going on a road trip, going to a baseball game today. There are teams playing. In fact, let's see who's playing. Probably Lancaster, York, Harrisburg are all probably got one of those three has got to have a baseball game today. Could be doing all that. But here I am. Here I am. These pics in the introduction could have been out of family album. I'm sure you have great grandparents. Okay. Carter singing. Okay. We haven't been contacted that sent in a statement of interest around 16 May. I think that people probably won't tell you if they have, David. Maybe they will. People protect their anonymity. What did I just walk into? It says milk and honey. No free medical. I'm out, damn it. And went into Walmart website, priced everything, which all our meals for a month. It came about $3.52. People, funny enough, beef for stews don't have bones in them. You can buy beef for stews at a butchery. We have butcheries. There's a butchery 7 kilometers this direction. There's another butchery 25 kilometers that direction. There's another one this way. Yeah, Pennsylvania, we have butcheries all over the place. 11 million, exactly. No, it's 10 million. I've asked all the questions. Okay, I got to that. Okay. Good evening. Are you allowed to bring your firearms? Elizabeth, I've answered that question a billion times, but I'll answer it again. You must go to the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms website. Google is your friend, and search the requirements. It's onerous to bring firearms into the United States, but it's doable. But it's at your expense. At your expense. So you need to do that. My question is, why would you want to bring firearms to the most heavily armed country in the world? Unless they're heirlooms. You know, if it's your great-great-granddad's they used in the Boer War, you want to bring it. But why do you need to bring firearms? It's doable. It's an onerous process, though. So go to Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. There's a forum. There's information. Tells you how to do it. It's at your expense. All right? So there you go, Elizabeth. Don't need any of that. Just a safe place. Okay. What did I miss this, Karen? You missed it all. You missed it all. Should have been here 6 minutes sooner. Your connection getting cutting off. Okay, sorry to hear that. Just chill. In your previous live, you mentioned you knew refugees were arriving. Do you perhaps know if there's 3? No. Again, back to that chill. Don't get wrapped around. And why are you asking about 3 interviews? I'm curious. You're welcome to ask. But why? Why? What's the question about 3 interviews? Is it a question of resources, being able to go back to the interview? I could understand that. I get that. But are you trying to game, well, 1 interview, then how long do I have to wait for the second one? Don't do that. Solar-proof water, FEMA pants. Hey, look back at all the ass wipes back in February, March, and April, including Uffer Connors, who told you you'd be living in FEMA tents, who told you you'd never get over here. It was all just a Trump scam. What dumbass dingbat doorknobs they look like now. Yep, what fools they look like now, as I said all along. Told the one guy I work with, I told him, and now he wants to join me. There you go. Well, I'll be here by the 4th of July, Janine. Always fun to listen. Keeps getting better. Forget this other Galati. Yes, Sandy, more refugees arrived this week. I've announced it previously. I announced it yesterday during John Steenhuisen's, Lucy pulls the football out from Charlie Brown's foot moment there as he punked all of South Africa. We will be not leaving the GNU. He got boring and started putting my audience to sleep, so I put him on mute, and I announced that refugees had arrived this week in different parts of the country. Flew on the same flight together, not a group, but just refugees. They came over here, included people who were in the first batch of 100, whose passports didn't arrive in time. And so they finally got over here after exhausting their savings, and they finally got here. But it's okay because they're not starving, because the program provides resources for them to get started. So they're doing okay. So they came over here, and they're here now. And then on top of that, another couple came over with them on the same flight. Just happened to be on the same flight, and they went to a different part of the country. And these were people who weren't in the first 100. These are people who came over. So there's your confirmation of people. I think there were people not in the first 100. I have to go back and check on that and see if I was wrong about that. Let me see something real quick. Hang on a second. Let me just double check. Oh, no, I'm sorry. They were with the pilot group, too. Both groups of the pilot group. My apologies. I don't want to give you fake news there. Yep. All right. So, yeah, but they were both in that first group of 100. So the 59 came, then more came, and now more have come from that first 100. Yeah. So, but we don't have the totals. You're welcome, Just Chill. Mari Becker, did you see the article by News 24 stating that USA want to bring over? I did not see the article on News 24. Let me go looking for it and see what comes up if it does. Mabulala declares DA to pack its bags. I have to make a video on that when I'm done here. Yeah, Fikile Mabulala is full of it. Pack the bags, you know. Idiots. Wow. Okay, there's nothing showing up on the page. Let me just do a South African one to see if it shows up there. And then I will do a search. Hello, News 24. A little bit faster. You bastards charge me 50 times what you charge everybody else for subscriptions. Okay. There's nothing here. Let me do a search with the term refugee in it. And we'll see if it shows up that way. Refugee, News 24. No, there's nothing here. Nothing shows up. Viral claim about African refugees stranded in U.S. hotel, still unverified. Yep. TikTok user. No, there's nothing here. They don't even mention me in that article. Unexplained. Yeah, there's nothing here. Nothing here. So I don't see anything from News 24. I don't know where you get that from. Don't want a Tesla. Yeah, they tend to burn, yeah. Did you see Musk wants to bring rockets to... Really? I didn't see that. Clearly the ones going now are signing NDAs, which is understandable. Also, if they go ask me to sign an NDA. Yep. Yep. Milan, 140 Rand super chat. Yep. On X, I help so many people that don't know the facts. It's crazy. Yeah, Voidy, I know. It's some of it's intentional. Some of those people are just frauds. 10 interviews, says Samantha, if I have to. Yep. Good evening, Luke says. I hope you had a good day. My only question is, are you definitely going to receive a call if you completed the statement of interest form? Well, Luke, how can I even possibly answer that question? You definitely? Then you're going to hold me to that if you fall through the cracks or the State Department doesn't get around to doing it? Yugi Bice. Thank you for the 14 Rand. You're very welcome for everything I do. No, I don't know. Definitely, all things being equal, you should get a call if you sent in a statement of interest. Yeah, or an email. But I mean, definitely, I don't know what definitely is. I mean, that's you want a definitive answer there. I can't give you that. I'm not running the program. If I ran the program, every email would have to be chased down, which would mean I have to hire a lot more people. Yeah. So, anyway, sorry. And Merlot, can the NC government put a stop to the refugee program by blocking us from leaving? Well, they can't put a stop to the refugee program. They can stop you from leaving. Yeah, of course. South African immigration controls its borders. They control whether I come in the country or whether I leave it. They control whether you leave the country or enter it. That's their prerogative. They're a sovereign state. They can do what they want. They could stop you. But the reason for non-disclosure agreements and the reason for telling people to keep their cake holes shut is so that no one knows that you're a refugee. I mean, when you go to the airport at OR Tambo to fly to America's refugee, you don't have a big sign saying, "Hello, I'm a refugee. Hello, please process me." No, you don't do that. You just walk up to the ticket counter. They'll ask you for your passport. You hand them your passport. The Green Mamba passport. Not this one. The Green Mamba. You hand them the Green Mamba. They'll look up your reservation in there. It doesn't say who paid for your flight. It doesn't say how you got the flight. It says you're going to the U.S. Then they'll look to see if you have a visa to go to the U.S. and they'll see it in there. Okay? And then you get your ticket. Then you go to immigration to leave. And you got your passport. You got a visa. How do they know you're a refugee? Am I missing something? Is it possible they give you a piece of paper that says you're a refugee and you have to take that with you? Maybe. Does immigration ask for it? Not to my knowledge. So there you go. So they can stop you, but they're going to have to stop everybody getting a flight going to the U.S. that's a South African national. You think that's going to fly? Yeah. No, they can stop you. But then you can also, we can start picking people up in Habarone too. Yes, there are some new subscribers. That's true. That's why I mentioned I've answered the questions many, many times. Hope you had a good day. Well, okay, I answered that question. Okay. Yeah, I've been told the most crazy stuff about the program that people take as gospel. Yeah, people believe any stupid stuff they want to believe. And then they get these same people that know nothing about what they're talking about. And then they don't like the fact that people are listening to what I have to say. So they attack me. They run me down and claim that I don't know what I'm talking about. Like certain people on Facebook groups who lie about programs. 17-year-old son passed a few months ago. I'd like to know if I'm allowed to take his ashes with me. Jaden, I don't know the answer to that question. But I imagine you can. It's not remains. So, I mean, from the sense of remains, if you're taking his ashes, yeah, I should think you would be able to. I'm sorry to hear about your loss, Jaden. So sorry to hear that. It's a tragedy for your family. I imagine you could, but again, that's an odd question. Not because you're asking an odd question, but it's odd. It's not one that usually comes up, and that's one that I don't recall anyone asking before. We transport remains of people, actual remains, when they die. Not when it's been some time. And people take the ashes of others on flights. It happens. So I'm not sure how it works, but I'm sure you can do it. I'm sorry for your loss, Jaden. Is there perhaps any clarity in the selection process as to how they select who? No, there's no, you don't have to, guys, okay. The reason I mentioned I've answered questions for is not to seek an apology. You don't have to apologize for asking your questions. Just ask your questions. That's what we're here for, to try to help people understand this as best we can. But I just tell you that I've answered before, so you know. That way you can go look at the indabaafrica.substack.com and find all the videos on there, well, most of them, and go reference them, like for financing, for background checks, for all the other stuff that's being done. It's funny because I told people from the outset when I first did this, around the 10th or 11th of February, when I first started publishing videos on this, and I did a video about background checks, one of the first ones I did, and people like background checks. I'm like, yeah, of course. And now people are getting forms to sign to approve, checking your background. They're like surprised. I'm like, why are you surprised? I've been telling you about this from the beginning. Yeah, Terrell, there's no clarity on the selection process. No clarity whatsoever. Not that I'm able to share. Diane, gosh, too afraid to ask a question. Why are you afraid to ask a question, Diane? Good Lord. I mean, you're in. Okay. First up, let me clarify something, folks. Okay, I'm sitting here in Pennsylvania, 7,000 miles away from the people in South Africa. Even if I was angry at you, I couldn't possibly harm you physically. Are you worried I'm going to hurt your feelings? I got to tell you this. If you're worried about asking a question because you think I'm going to hurt your feelings, then your life isn't in jeopardy. People whose lives are genuine in jeopardy, genuinely need to get out. Don't worry about their feelings being hurt. So, relax, ask your question. Kudos for your contribution and patience. You're very welcome, the Thing of Nouns. And thank you for the 35 Rand super chat. Ask your question, ask away. Gosh, I'm not angry at anyone, so I don't know what you're inferring. So, folks, chill. Carlos Fredo, what's going on? Diane, ask your... Oh, you're laughing. You're laughing. You're not really afraid, Diane. Share the refugee interviews with many people as possible. So many people are talking nonsense. Yeah, please share the links to my videos. I mean, we have a whole playlist on it, guys. I mean, that's a key thing. That's a very good point. So let me go to the channel, the playlist. Okay. Well, it's not showing up here. Anyway, I got a playlist that has that. So just go there and check it out, folks. Got a playlist for it. So anyway, we're close. We're close to that 105,000. 100 more. 104,900 we hit. Wow. I think some people tuned in here tonight that be here for the refugee program, but pushed us. We got like 13. Thank you for that. If there's more of you, just join. It doesn't cost anything to become a subscriber, by the way, folks. Samantha Myberg, 14 Rand super chat. Thank you for that. Hair like a hair bunny or a bunny hair. Haha, Samantha, that's clever. That's very good. There you go. Yes, you may. Says, yeah, Arctic would know. He's in aviation. Arctic, I'm pretty sure you can do that. Yep. That's a question that I struck. Whoa. That just disappeared on me. Hang on a second. I was trying to read a question. It just went like this. Where'd it go? I'm way off here. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm way behind. I'm sorry, folks. Let me try to catch up here a little bit. I didn't realize that far behind. I've got a bunch of super chats here I missed. Okay. And it just missed some of the chat, so that's far behind. I'm going to have to skip some of it. Thanks for giving folks support. Thanks for prayer support. My beloved wife is now free of cancer. Oh, congratulations, Richard. Congratulations. That's some good news for Richard's wife. She doesn't have cancer anymore. That's awesome. 6 months to 12 months, so I'm being very patiently waiting. Okay, Mila. SAPS takes 2 years with export permits. Last I heard. There you go. See, that's why would you want to take firearms out? Close my banking details, says Fabian. Yep. Jaden said it was me asked that question. Okay. I know luggage should be 23 kgs, but are there any restrictions, dimensions? Yeah, there are restrictions. Just go to the airlines and look them up. They're standard. They're standard. Yeah, there are restrictions, but most airlines give you 2 bags of 23 kg. Lifetime tickets to New York Philharmonic. Of course, Anita. Yes. When do you want them? Would like them delivered by express, DHL. I can have them there tomorrow. Do they pick good-looking people? Yes, they do. That's why I was the first refugee. What are your thoughts on that article? Well, I can't find that article, Mari. Can't find it. You want to take your Jimmy over? Well, I didn't hear you inquiring about vehicles, Fabian. You can bring your vehicle over. It's expensive. It's expensive. It cost, I think it was... what was it, $15,000 to ship my truck to Botswana? Yep. Criminals will feed off desperate people want to leave the country. Colonels explain that the U.S. police are 1 million times better than we are. That's true. It's funny how many leftists here, family of mine who hated Trump, all of a sudden love Trump. Yeah, well, they can go stuff themselves. What is this, Jerice? I didn't see any question from Jerice. And what is the question that Arctic is answering, Jerice? Yassine, I answered your question. Jaden, I don't see any juries here, so I don't know who that is. Please stop asking who got called for news, please. They're not allowed to share the information with just everyone. It's a matter of their own security. Exactly. Did you see the Washington Post article saying, okay, Washington Post, okay, someone said News 24. Okay, Washington Post. Let's go to Washington Post, where I have a subscription. Let's see what that article, okay, where's my, oh, come on, where's the damn search button? I hate this website. Okay. South Africa refugee. Here it is, 27 June. Trump officials plan to resettle 1,000 Afrikaners while blocking other refugees. First off, that's a lie. Afghans have been coming over for a few weeks now, so they're liars. Trump officials, refugees that a federal judge had ordered the Trump administration to admit are being barred from entry on the president's travel ban, even as Afrikaners are allowed in. First off, this is a lie from Sylvia Foster Frau. Okay, it's not Afrikaners, it's South Africans, but you see how they just lie about stuff. So here we go again with more lies coming from the fake media. So I'm gonna have to make a video on this. Okay, gonna have to make a video on this one. Where the heck is this at? Okay, cancel. Let me take this and move it. Okay, that's a Washington Post article, not a News 24 article. Okay, so let me bring that over here so we all can see it. Come on, where's my mouse? There's my mouse. Okay, where... Oh, that was from the news I did earlier. Hang on a second. Okay, there we go. Now bring this over here. Oh, now it's in that window. Shoot, I don't want that one. Now it does that one. It captured that one. So let's do this here. Firefox. Come on. There you go. All right, so that's fake news. I'm going to have to call this story out. So, letting Afrikaners. The Trump administration is ramping up a resettlement of white South Africans while simultaneously moving to bar entry for refugees from countries that fall under the president's travel ban. Officials are moving to block refugees that a federal judge had ordered administration to allow in. The travel ban would apply to more than 12,000 refugees who had booked flights for the U.S. Thus far, only one group has been allowed to enter the United States, refugees under Trump, Afrikaners. Those are liars. Okay? They said that they are here facing racial discrimination and allegation that lacks any evidence. That's simply not true. A document reviewed by the Post states administration plans to have resettled 1,000 by the end of September. To date, fewer than 100 have arrived since Trump's executive order in early February. Okay, so this is fake news. They've obviously got someone who's betrayed the nation's confidence by disclosing classified information. So 1,000, that's possible, yeah. That's possible by the end of the fiscal year. I'm not surprised by that. So I'll have to cover that. Thank you guys for pointing that out to me. That's a story I'll have to put some time and effort into. All right, please stop. Okay. Do you know when those leaving applied? Yes, I do, Zelly. And I've already told you that most of the people that are over here were people in the first 100, but not exclusively. That included the 59 who came in the first in a charter flight and others who came since then. But there are other people who were not part of that 100 who have been interviewed, who have their backgrounds checked, and who have arrived. So what does that matter? What does that matter? What are you going to determine from that information? I don't know, Fabian, whether you can register vehicles or not here. You have to meet the standards that are set by the U.S. Department of Transportation for motor vehicles. The Germans have standards, and we were exempt as military taking our vehicles over there, but there are things in the U.S. that don't meet the German standards for our cars. The only reason we were able to do that is the military is because we had a status force agreement that was exempted our cars. They have different headlights in Europe than we do, so different turn indicators, but we were given exemptions. Sean Newton says 350 Rand. Hi, Colonel. Thank you. Love your work. My burning question is, what is your calculated guess of how many of us have filled out the statement of interest? Sean, that's a crazy. I have no idea. The only piece of information I have on that is that Marco Rubio stated in testimony in the Senate that 70,000 people had filled out a statement of interest. This was a month ago. After just a couple weeks, they already had 70,000, or 3 weeks ago. So I don't know the number, but my guess, if that's true, it's probably 150,000 or 200,000 by now, would be my guess. But I have nothing to base that on, so we just have to wait and see. Your dog got up from the table and walked over the keyboard to see Chris. It's all cat. Hey, Steve. It's amazing that seniors and family groups have to deal with so much over the last 45 years. They've suffered so much knowing that all the Afrikaners are mentally strong. Silent Joe, why do you think these Afrikaner influencers still instill fear? There's several reasons for it. Number one, they're just some really stupid people in the Afrikaner community. Ooh, that's going to get me flamed. There are. There's stupid people in America, too. There are just stupid people who think that they're important. They're also hucksters, scampsters, shysters, and thieves out there trying to take advantage of vulnerable people. There are also self-styled leaders in the Afrikaner community, the border community, who think that they are the experts, the leaders, and they fancy themselves, and they're puffing up their chest and being important. Look at me, I'm the one in charge here. You've got that phenomena going on too. Also, you have Afrikaners who are just stupid. We have stupid Americans, stupid Afrikaners who, in the face of all information, refuse to believe the truth. Refuse to believe anything. So they'll spew their nonsense and they'll use their influence on vulnerable people, rubes and suckers, to hurt people, whether it's intentional or not. Some people are going to take this the wrong way, but tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that none of those people exist in the Afrikaner and the border community. Of course they do. And they've always existed. As I've said, you get 10 Afrikaners together, you'll come up with 12 plans of action. And from those 12 plans of action, 0 will be executed. You get 10 Afrikaners together, and you'll have, I said 12 plans, it's 20 plans of action, 12 leaders. You'll have 12 leaders out of 10 people. You get 10 Afrikaners together, and one of them will betray you to the English. Why do you think, okay. I think that's why, Silent Joe. Belinda's been trying to get away 4 years. This is a blessing. Sell your Jimmy, buy a new one. Exactly. I see Washington Post says something. Okay, I found that article, Jacques. I'll make a video on that after I'm done, but my neighbor's mowing grass, so I have to wait till he finishes. Perhaps a dumb question, but does the big beautiful bill include more funds for FG programs? I don't know, Edward. I haven't read the 1,000 pages of it, and I'm not going to read the 1,000 pages of it until it's actually approved because it'll keep changing. I don't think so. They're trying to cut money, so they're not going to add to it. And Arctic says, no, it doesn't. So you've read the 1,000-page bill? I haven't. Okay. Guys, to go will be a privilege, but continue with your lives until you contact. Exactly, Haley Senecal. Don't let your life stop because you're waiting. Otherwise, you're just going to be miserable. Going to America, you can actually be appreciated there and live your full potential, says Bennett. Correct. Emissions. See, that's a problem. Yeah, you're not going to be able to bring it because of emissions. Yes, the Washington compost is crap, but the story's there, so now we've got to refute it. I got this in the mail. Your registration immigration service in America is pending with USFIS. Just wondering, what the hell is USAFIS? I don't know. You're not going through immigration services. You're going through for the USRAP Refugee Assistance Program, USCIS. So I'm not sure what that is. Just without seeing it, I can't tell you whether it's a scam. Look at the address, look at the phone number, and it's probably from a commercial site trying to make money off you. If you sell in California and clean it up, we might rename it New Transvaal. Jacques Krause asked a question. Well, I see no Jacques Krause in my chat. So what was his question? What was this question? I see no Jacques Krause here. Guys, I'm getting a 22 chat rate from 1,000 people, so I don't see everything. So what's the question? Plus my chat keeps jumping. I don't know, Lynette. What was this question? Ronaldo kept women busy with his super saucy stripper moves. Okay. Sorry to hear that. Okay. Avert your eyes. Elephant Lover, good evening to you. One more question. I applied to get my underbridged birth certificate. Government saying 1 year to get it. What do we do in the event? Well, then you wait 1 year for it, Jaden. What can you do? What can you do? There's nothing we can do to help you. You wait 1 year to get it. As far as I know, you don't need an unabridged birth certificate to come to America. You just need a passport. But you will need a birth certificate in order to apply for a green card. And if you come here 6 months from now and it takes 6 months to get the statement, well, you're still within the first year. You can apply for a green card. You should be okay. Someone just has to mail it to you. Totals aren't important. Be patient, be prepared. Exactly. Who gets an interest-free loan? Hi, thank you. Every update is one video possible with what's needed to make sure we sign up correctly, as well as what documentation might be asked. That's been covered in multiple videos, Elsing. You just got to watch this stuff, or you just actually all you got to do is go read the damn website, za.usembassy.gov. It tells you what you need to do. As far as the documentation, you'll need the documentation to tell you to bring. When they contact you, they'll tell you what to bring. Obviously, you need a passport. You need a birth certificate. If you've been married, you need a marriage certificate. If you've been divorced, you need a divorce certificate. And if you've got serial, practice husbands or practice wives, you're going to need all those. Same in your kids, going to need the birth certificate. So beyond that, you don't need a police clearance report. That's bullshit. That's some South African nonsense that we don't deal with. Anyway, but Helsing, we've answered this many, many times in many, many videos. But I think that wraps it up pretty smoothly for what you're looking for. I think it will be that more will go to America at a time. So they want to. No, Nikki, I have no idea. It all depends on the processing capability. See, look, I'm not attacking anybody here, but you all think this is a simple thing. Oh, I want to go. No. And that's why you have to listen to Baby Wyatt. Baby Wyatt makes this very clear, folks. It's very clear. Very clear. I mean, it's just insane. Oh, it's been 3 weeks. Okay, get a grip. I mean, honestly, people have no idea what's involved here. A thorough background investigation must be completed to prove who you are, where you're from, what you're saying is true. That has to take place. There's an administrative process that has to take place. Interviews have to be conducted. Medical screening has to be done. All this stuff takes time. It all takes time. And that's just to get you processed to even get out of the country and approved. Then they've got to find a place to park your bum in America. And with NGOs like the racist Episcopal Church refusing to process South Africans because they're racist, it puts us in a bind. They're one of the biggest providers, so we have to turn to alternate providers. So we have to find a place to park your bum. Then we have to get you there, to book flights, have to get your visa approved to get you into the country. I mean, I'm still aghast at people like, well, it's been so long. Seriously? It's amazing. People sit for 15 years in a refugee camp in Kenya after fleeing Somalia and are just grateful for getting out after 15 years. And I got South Africans that May 12th was when the program started. June 12th. It's been 6 weeks. And they're like freaking out. You don't have real expectations of the world, folks. As far as people going out, Nikki, I have no idea the numbers. And there could be a day when 100 people go out. There could be a day when 200 people go out. But I doubt that. Because they're going to commercial flights. There aren't many flights from South Africa to America. And we're not routing you through Europe. We're routing you to America. So basically all you've got is Delta and United right now. South African Airways doesn't fly here, does it? So that's all you've got. It's the only options you've got. And there's only so many flights. Only so many seats in the planes. You're already clogging up the seats. I probably won't be able to get back to South Africa or come home because there's no seats. Hey, Nelia, what's up? Rules and requirements are to be adhered to. Yeah, well, many South Africans have forgotten that because you all don't live by rules. People complain about the inept ANC, but many of you benefit from it. You get pulled over for speeding, 100 Rand, you're gone. You put $100 out here, you're going to jail. You're going to be arrested by a cop for, trying to bribe a police officer. South Africans are accustomed to ignoring the rules. White, black, and brown South Africans, just simply ignoring them. No place to turn here, I'll just do a U-turn. Oh, it's a median, I'll just drive over it. And you all do it. Not everyone. But South Africans, you're used to breaking the rules. Black, white, and brown South Africans. So you expect to be able to just break the rules and do what you want. It doesn't work that way, man. It doesn't work that way. When I was in the Army during national service, my regimental sergeant major told me, they said, number, name, rank would not listen to anything that could not be substantiated. Exactly, Nick Stander. Do you say that if you are a debt collection or paying something an attorney, you will not be able to go? No, France. Who told you that, Francis Ruiz? That's not true. That's factually untrue. The United States doesn't give two flying flips about your debt status in South Africa. But if you think you're going to escape debt collectors by coming to America, you got a rude awakening. You have a moral responsibility to pay your debt, so you should pay it. And you can be pursued legally. I mean, we already see that, what's her name there? Pumzila van Dam is being sued by AfriForum, even though she's sitting in America. She's being sued in civil court for criminal injuria. So if you think that you can't be sued in a judgment against you, that's for you to decide, Francis Ruiz. But no, I don't know who said that you can't go. That's nonsense. That's nonsense. They have no authority over the U.S. The refugee program, okay, this is where people need to stop. Engage your brains, folks. This is not immigration. This is refugee status for people whose lives are in peril. Do you think that if people flee Somalia and we have a camp set up and on the other side are the gangs trying to kill them? And we're going to go, well, you got this little debt back in Mogadishu. You're going to have to clear that up before he lets you escape and come to America for your safety to save your life. Come on, guys. No, that has no bearing whatsoever. Now, if you're a criminal, that has a bearing. If you're a pedo, a rapist, a murderer, that will have a bearing. If you've been falsely convicted of one of those crimes, then tell them that, okay? Well, I'm going to be wrong about it, but I think the refugee program will pick up once GBB is passed. What is the GBB? Great, big, beautiful bill. I don't know what GBB is. Milan, thank you for 140 Rand. Thanks for being you. Didn't say, Arctic didn't say it. It said that if you have criminal conviction relates to debt, that may come up. Yes, that's correct. But it shouldn't be, unless the criminal conviction is like, embezzlement or something like that, it wouldn't be criminal. It'd be a civil conviction. A question about public transport in U.S. metros. Is the bus system good? South African public transport. The bus systems in every city, no matter how bad they are light years better than South Africa's system. Yeah, light years better. We don't have yellow, green arrow buses here. No, every city has their own. Atlanta has its own bus system. I've ridden on that. L.A. has its own bus system. New York. But the public transport is not the way to get around America unless you live in an urban center. And even then, it's not the best. You need a car. Yurgi says, thank you for everything you do. You're welcome. Okay. A lot of people gladly live in FEMA tents. Can the ANC or government stop us from going? Yes, they can stop you at the airport. We can't do anything about it. So somehow cost to ship sentimental stuff being left behind sucks. Well, Jason, there is a way. It's going to cost you a fortune. The shipping containers cost thousands of dollars, and there's a way to do it. But you have to have a person that can receive it on this end. And you can't do that if you don't have a contact and you're in the state, or you're in South Africa. So you can sort it out. There's transport companies in Joburg that can help you out. Yes, I've already mentioned the Washington Post several times now. I believe everything Americaners post, but they are just echoing most of the Colonel's saying. Have you ever interviewed in actual interviews? Oh, okay. So Talitha, I don't know what Talitha is saying. Apparently Napoleon commented on that. So Talitha, yeah, if you're saying trust the Americaners over me, well, that's your prerogative. I don't care. That's your business. I don't have the resources to sit around and come up with per capita cost of education and housing and stuff all over the country. The Amerikaners have done that. They've done a very good job about it. As far as the program, what's happening, well, you can believe who you want to believe. Any news on how Thea's doing? I heard from Thea earlier. Finally, I was very concerned about her. I sent her an email because she hasn't been answering my emails. So I wrote to her earlier. Hang on a second. Where's it at? Come on, let me see what she had to say. Well, that's not what I'm looking. What's this? Oh, my WhatsApp's not working. Yeah, she said working long hours. She as a manager has been giving keys to her place of employment and the safe and the deposit box. So there you go. So they have got their trust. So they're a refugee over here, barely over a month, and she's all on top of it. No, I sent her a message and asked if she's okay because she had not checked in my mail for over a week. She's that busy, working her tail off, like an American, working long hours. Hendrick said, I wasn't spreading fake news. I just asked a question. It wasn't listed as a question. I don't recall seeing a question mark. Thank you, Hank. The question is, do you think they will consider your work background and place you in a state where your skills can be used? No, they won't. They won't. You can ask them. They might consider it, but the bottom line is, especially if more and more people come, there's only so many places you can be put, only so many refugee assistant agents around. They're going to put you in a place where you have access to that. Look what happened to the people that wanted to go to Montana. And then the lady did the video saying that they were starving in a hotel. That they were being ignored. They had no telephone. Well, that was a partially true story, which was blown out of proportion. And the facts of the story weren't fully shared. I've spoken to that family and checked in on them. And it was a partially true story, but it was blown out of proportion. And the reason why they were in a difficult situation is they went to a place by their choice. There was one of the families that actually got to go where they're asked to go, in a place where there's no refugee assistance settlement officer, case officer available. So their person was virtual, and that was part of the problem. Also, it sounds like the refugee assistance person was a bit of a bigot and a deuce. And so there you go. But yeah, so. Thanks for all the news updates. You're welcome, Hondo Hugo. Okay. Francois says, sorry, I didn't see it. It's okay, Francis. Okay. I sent you a link to 1,000 refugees in the Washington Post. I found it. Okay. Are all the interviews refugees coming over now initially first 100? Save It Private Right answered that question previously. No, they're not all the first 100. What do you mean the first time, every time you hear news about the first 100? No one's talking about the first 100. Almost nobody even admitted there were 100 people. You keep hearing about the 59. You don't go to an interim place. You go to interim accommodation, short-term accommodation. Thank you, student. 15 Rand. You go to short-term accommodation. In some cases, you go straight to an apartment if it's ready for you. Yep. Do you think they will open an office in Cape Town? I have no idea, Silent Joe. I wish they would. I've already identified how I would run the program. It would have offices in at least 8 major metropolitan cities across South Africa, but I'm not running the program. As for now, I can confirm that they are conducting them in Joburg and in Pretoria. You just answered the question I've been wondering about, says Belinda. Okay. I've learned that the crux of the sentimental stuff is the memory associated with them. Take photos by sentimental items saves having to dust them in the future. The other thing, too, is if it's something physical, you can scan it, especially a photo or a document. It's not the same, but it's still there. Submit my statement of interest, 18 May, still waiting patiently. Can't expect anybody to phone if it happens to you. Okay, says Werner. Saw the stadium was very empty yesterday. All the empty seats must be due to the refugees that left. No, Ian Lewis, 45,000 tickets were sold, but it was a driving rainstorm, and it was pretty full in the beginning, except the ends of the stadium were empty for the most part, but then it emptied out as the weather got worse in the second half. Here's a question. What's your prediction will happen in South Africa in the next 100 years? Well, 100 years, that's crazy. Liesl van Niekerk, thank you for your subscription. Yeah, the cold and the rain. My phone crashed. Did I answer my question? Nikki, I did answer your question several times. It's come up. Has been taken out of context from an article the Trump administration reported preparing to resettle thousands. Yeah, it could be dead. Yep, okay. No visa, it's a refugee program. Go to U.S. Embassy and check it out, okay? Article's from June 1st. Is that when that article's from? No, it's June 27th. Not June 1st, June 27th. June 27th. Luke says, thanks for my question. Do you know if Western Cape people have been contacted? Yes, I do. I do know. I can confirm. People in the Western Cape have been contacted. And they're not all white. They're not all white. I can confirm also they're non-whites in the Western Cape have been contacted. Woo! Tendai Ansel, thank you for the 7 Rand super chat. Okay. These are to move families on commercial flights. What is Nikki asking for? Yeah, okay, co-broker, that's a fake news story, and I'm going to cover it. You can take action. They took my mom's when I went to New York. No questions asked. The officials here are very considerate. There you go. Thank you, William. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that was my expectation. Well, your sister brought your mom from Cape Town to Gauteng with no problem, but Corey, that's not the same. That's inside South Africa. Try taking things in New Zealand. Those people give you a body cavity search for hiking boots. Yeah, different countries have different requirements because of agricultural pests. Xbox, laptop, and hard drives. Yes, you can. If I have debt because of strikes that happen, I don't understand your question, Francois Thron. What are you talking about? Who cares how your debt was formed? And who cares about your debt? Except you and the people you owe it to. Certainly not the American government. Kudos for your patience. You're welcome. Okay. You may have missed this question. Do we know if Cape Town... Yes, I've answered that just now again for the 3rd time in this broadcast. You may have missed my answer previously. Googled about the ashes, says Francois. Okay, we should send a batch of bugger off bunnies to the State Department. What about train systems? A lot of U.S. metros have trains too. Is it a good means of public? It is, and it is expensive, yes, but you can get passes, which would reduce the cost. So New York has a subway system, which is pretty reliable. San Francisco has a train system, runs from the airport up into town, and streetcars, pretty reliable. But they don't go everywhere. It doesn't go everywhere. You got to do a lot of walking. So Veroshka's here. I thought you were gone, Veroshka. Francois, some coffee money. And Veroshka, thank you for 50 and 100 Rand. Thank you so much for that, guys. We should send a batch. Okay, got that. Okay, so there you go, Lindy. That's the train systems. But why would you want to live in a major metropolitan area? Thank you for the 100 Rand, Veroshka. And Lizzie, that's why we're here. Just asking. I'm unsure. Lizzie, that's fine. Ask the question. Did I miss it? The ANC, MK, and EFF don't want you gone. They don't want to look at your face, but they don't want you gone because the economy will collapse. Must have a death certificate. Okay, says Kaffee. Well, that makes sense. Sealed in a plastic bag and then sealed in a container. That makes sense. But I don't know the answer. So, yeah. I mean, you can't just walk in with the urn and it's got no seal and the top falls off and it spills all over the aircraft. That's, What states would you recommend for most South Africans? Okay, Lango Hugo. Thank you, Vossi, for your membership. Excuse me. Samantha Myberg, thank you for the 14 Rand Super Chat. Your first one ever. Thank you for that. So, hello, Hugo. That's not a question I could possibly answer. I mean, that's crazy. So, this is a country of 330 million people with 48 contiguous continental states, Alaska, Hawaii, and 4 territories. We're all over the place. I mean, Maine is not even remotely like Arizona. Arizona is not even remotely like North Dakota. North Dakota is not even remotely like Florida. Florida is not even remotely like Ohio. Ohio is not like Texas. They're very different places. I don't know where you live. You haven't told me where you live. Do you live in subtropical Durban? Then you're going to want to live in Miami, or Louisiana, or Houston, or South Alabama, Lower Alabama, Los Angeles, Lower Alabama, LA. If you live in the Highveld, you might like Colorado or Wyoming or New Mexico, the Highveld. High Desert Chaparral. If you live in the Karoo and you like the Karoo, then you might want to live in Arizona or Southern California in the desert out by Barstow. If you live in the Western Cape and you like Mediterranean climate, you might want to live in Southern California. If you like, anyway, see, I really can't answer that question. I mean, that's a crazy question for me to answer. What if your unabridged birth certificate takes too long? I know you need it for your Social Security number. Well, then you're not going to be able to get a Social Security number and a green card. There are exceptions, I'm sure. People that come from places like the Congo in the 1960s didn't have birth certificates. Those who fled as refugees in the Second World War didn't have any documentation. They will make exceptions under certain circumstances, which I couldn't possibly answer. I couldn't possibly answer that question. Exactly. Your debt has nothing to do with the USA, but you're still liable to pay it in South Africa. Yeah, everything does work in America. Exactly. Okay. Someone asked a question about shipping containers. A WhatsApp group started to share a container. Can I share it? Well, Francis Ruiz, you can't because you don't have a moderator. So can I find you here? People keep asking the same stupid questions over again, and my moderators are removing them. How is Tennessee? Lovely. I'm not seeing these messages because they're over here in the studio, but I have my streaming software, so I'm missing some of your questions because my mods are deleting them, probably because they're annoyed by them. You don't have to have a South Africa driver's license, U.S. driver's license, but you have one that can facilitate it going faster in many states. So, but Francis, when did you do that? 2:47. Okay, it's 4 minutes ago. Let me go back to that 2:47. Where's she at? Come on, Francis. Francis, that's above the blue one. Okay, I'm going to, Francis, give you temporary moderator status so you can share that link for the container. Except it's not working. There you go, standard moderator. Okay, so that's going to be stripped from you as soon as you post the link. So you can post the link a couple of times because only moderators and the content creator can post links according to YouTube. So go ahead and put it in there, Francis, and I'll take it away after you've posted the link for that container group. You know where you're going before you board the plane? Yes, of course you will, Hera. How else could you possibly plan? You will know. You will know. Less than 600 likes. No, we got 625 likes. How's Texas from American perspective? As I do fancy it if I could pick a town. How's it from American perspective? I don't care for Texas. It's big, it's dusty, it's hot, it's humid. Ugh, does nothing for me. And full of people who hate America. Yeah, so. Reno, welcome to you. No, Texas does nothing for me. Been there many times. No, don't get me wrong, Colonel. I just mentioned where they post the link. Gotcha. How many people American descent in Southern has contact you? Just you, Alan. Go check Delta flights at the 1st of July are almost all sold out. Yep, some have 1 to 4 tickets. Exactly. Thank you, Vernon. That will tell you everything you need to know. That will tell you everything you need to know. Why is that, Vernon? Anecdotally, what season is it in South Africa? It's wintertime, right? It's wintertime. And people are leaving South Africa to come here. So, anyway, but check the flights going the other way. See how many Americans are going there. Still patiently waiting for the call. I'm making it easy. Well, thank you for that, Yannick. I'm glad I'm helping. That's why you haven't been contacted yet. People stay positive. They're opening up interview stations in your area before they contact you. Well, that's positive, William. We don't know if that's true, but that's positive. I'm going to have my bicycle, which was donated to me after a brutal attack on my life in a parking outside my work, couriered to me with half a pallet of other stuff. All right, Peter. And Tunde Ansel, 7 rand super chat. Thank you. Actually, I will be talking to people about finances. Because of the threats to a South African by a disturbed hate wanker, I will be doing that. Been doing some research, and I will provide you with some finance information in an upcoming stream. Okay? Probably later this week. All right? But I think what I'll do is make it as a presentation and not as an actual live stream. Okay? So then you can watch it. It'll be a new video this will be a new video I'm working on this week about finances, about how you get your money out of South Africa, how you get your money from one place to another. Okay? Most of those emigrating are doing okay. Well, they're not emigrating, Karen. Those who've left as refugees, even with those of the pension. Yep. When you'll be talking to Operation Pet Lift again? Well, Summary, any plans? Contact them. There's some source I cannot disclose. I know there are people. Yeah, well, that's not true, Summary. That's not true. People who've gotten information from Pet Lift have misinterpreted and shared it incorrectly and spread false information around. And I'll leave it at that. I'm not blaming PetLift for that. I'm blaming people who got the information. It's been spread around. People make false claims that PetLift said something they didn't say. I have talked to one of the people from PetLift last week. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that. I'm not talking to PetLift again unless they contact me. Not because I don't want to talk to them, because I have nothing to talk to them about. They presented what they do. If they have an update for me, they promised they would come back and give me information. They've given me no updates. I've reached out to Morgan again, and she offered me no update. So I have no reason to do an update. There's a refugee NGO in Pennsylvania. I have no idea if there's refugee NGO in Pennsylvania. And why would you all come here? I said don't come to Pennsylvania. How many times do I have to say that? Folks, if you all come to Pennsylvania, you think you're going to hang out with me, you obviously don't pay attention to my work schedule. Understanding things wrong. You said the assistance medical work that you have to repay. What's this? No. Who told you that, Lizzie? Who told you that? Who told you, Lizzie Nell, that the assistance you receive you have to repay? That's a lie. The only thing you have to repay is your flight, potentially. I don't know how they're paying for these flights. Normally, refugees either pay their own way or the International Organization Migration pays, but I still haven't got clarity on how that's working with people coming over now. No idea. That you have to pay back. It's an interest-free loan. You have to start paying it back 6 months later from IOM, but we don't know that they're even paying for it this time, so I don't have the answer on that, and no one does. It's a big secret right now. As far as the other things you have to pay back, the money, the refugee cash assistance, you don't pay that back. That's grant money. Food stamps, you don't pay that back. That's grant money. Social Security supplemental, you don't pay that back. That's grant money. You're not paying any of that back. The only thing you might have to pay back is if an organization makes a deposit for your rent because you don't have the money for the rent deposit. You might have to pay that back. I don't know. Maybe. Oh, sorry, Corey. I didn't see what you're answering. Yes, I know my questions are answers like 3 minutes behind Milk and Honey, but the things have been answered before that. So almost every question where I've answered something and I'm behind the timeline, I've previously answered early in the broadcast and people weren't paying attention. So that's why I say it. You can be sued for debt. Some companies, yep, exactly. Depends how much debt you have. Dumb question, but can you travel abroad while waiting for an interview? Yeah, why not? Of course. You can, David. Why can't you travel abroad? 10-ton press. Convert your desktop to a smaller size. You just want to hear from an American, Anthea. What did you want, Anthea? I missed something from Anthea. Still don't see it. It's missing there. Okay, I'm going to go back and look at the questions were deleted when I get to the end here and see if maybe someone will answer. States are accepting. No, okay, stop. That's fake news, Lindy. There's no such thing as states that are accepting refugees. And they're not Afrikaner refugees. Stop. Full stop. Stop with this Afrikaner refugees. These are not Afrikaner refugees. These are South Africans. It includes coloreds and Indians, which are not Afrikaners, okay? Let's get that straight. So it's not Afrikaner refugees. Let's get that done. You are reinforcing the fake news by saying that. Stop that. Number one. Number two, there's no such thing as states accepting. It doesn't matter what the states want. It's what the federal government does. The Supremacy Clause Constitution allows them to put refugees in all 50 states. They don't. Alaska's too expensive, too far away, and Hawaii is outrageously expensive, so no one will survive there. So they put you in the lower 48. California, Colorado, Idaho, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Montana, Nevada, New York, and Washington are just bullshit propaganda stories run by people that don't understand how the system works. And the reason they came out with those states is because that's where many of the refugees in the first 59 went to. And now they all think they're subject matter experts. Well, these are the states accepting. They don't get a choice. North Dakota doesn't get a choice. Ohio doesn't get a choice. Pennsylvania doesn't get a choice. The refugees get settled where the U.S. government puts them. The U.S. government has sovereignty over all 50 states and 4 territories. Simple as that. So please, Lindy, you mean well, and I'm not attacking you, but stop. It's not Afrikaner refugees, and there is no such thing as states accepting. The initial 59 was an exception. Again, get this out of your head. The initial 59 are done and dusted. It does not apply. It is inappropriate to talk about the 59 and how it's going forward for you guys. That's why when I do refugee interviews now, most of my focus is on how are you adjusting to life? What are you doing? How are you getting around? Did you buy a car? Do you have a job? What's your place like? Okay? That is no longer applicable. Get that out of your mind. People don't worry about wearing the USA. It must be Alaska. Exactly. Why would you wear? And besides, if you go someplace you don't like, move. Move. It's like Sam Kinison. People are starving in Africa. Move! Lucille from Durban, can't wait for my call. I'd like to stay in Florida when I come. Okay, well, there's 4 boating capitals in America. Florida has one, then Annapolis is another, and then Rhode Island is a third one, and San Diego is a 4th one for pleasure yachts. Will you be doing live shows? Everyone come to your area. You can sell tickets. SA pets don't work in the state because they can't bark American. Maybe asked before, but if you have an account like Microsoft, of course. You'll have to change your address. You'll have to change your currency if you're billed in Rand. But yeah, of course it works. My Microsoft account works when I'm in Botswana. Top Secrets. Is Top Secrets here? I haven't seen Top Secrets. Wow. What's going on? How am I missing Top Secrets chat? Welcome, Top Secrets. We go back a long time. Longer than any of the rest of you guys. If you receive your first call but not the email with the form, just told a colleague we'll call you in a short time. I have no idea what you're asking, Vale. And why are you asking Arctic? He's not a refugee. 29 learners that works in maritime that had virtual interviews the second time and some accepted, so it's true. Thank you, Milites. That's exactly what I said. Your interview, if you get one, might be virtual. Okay? People need to chill, calm out. Wait till you hear from them. Student says, Chris, please ask the people who created the Declaration of Interest to include a section where we can set our ID number. We are too yeah, but that doesn't going to help. There's plenty of fake ID numbers. That's just going to make it worse, student. Don't ask AIs. It will not give you the right answer. No, it doesn't. It lies about the refugee stuff. I have a daughter in the U.S. She's turning 21, so it seems like I have other options to go because I'm... No, you don't, Jacques. You don't. You don't. Is she an American citizen? What option do you have? I can't sponsor people to come here. I don't know what you're getting at, man. What secret recipe, what secret sauce do you have? You don't have any options. What options? Because your daughter lives in America? Because she's an American? That doesn't give you any right to come here. Doesn't give you a visa. Doesn't give you a permanent residency. I think maybe you're misunderstanding how America works, Jacques. Unless you got some secret recipe you know of. I mean, I worked in dozens of embassies, and I was forbidden legally from sponsoring anyone to come to America on a visa. You get approached all the time. Hey, can you help my friend get a visa? No, I can't. I can't do that. Only the ambassador has the prerogative to personally recommend people, and that's very limited, very circumspect. The only people I can recommend are on official business. So I'm not sure what you're talking about there. The only loophole is these people that win the Visa lottery and come over here, then they can sponsor family. Did she win the Visa lottery? Diversity lottery, which is going away, by the way. Ask my opinion for Milwaukee. Milwaukee's okay, but Diana, it's got a lot of problems. Right, they don't want you to leave, but you can't get a job because of your skin color. Spot on. That's exactly what the deal is. Okay. I think people in here are trying to provoke a bad reaction so they can make a TikTok again. Could be, Yannicka. Still waiting for my call. Do children in school get assessed here to determine what grade they fall in once there? No, you don't get assessed in South Africa for where you're going to fall in here. You come here, you take your kid, they take the age. Oh, your kid's 12. 7th grade. What grade were they in South Africa? Well, they're in standard whatever. Okay. Some states might require you to take some sort of test, but that's unlikely. Usually they'll just put you right in where everyone else is at. Unless they don't speak English, then it might be another story. Did all my research, converted my resume. I'll settle eventually in Twin Falls, Idaho. Well, good luck with that, Corey. That's pretty ambitious. Can the embassy do Zoom interviews? Well, of course they can. Will they? No. Maybe. We don't know. We don't know. Again, that's false information. The embassy isn't doing it. You guys got to stop equating the embassy, because what happens is you have people going to the embassy and trying to get in. Well, you haven't answered my statement of interest. I haven't got a call. The embassy doesn't do this, ladies and gentlemen. For the 1 billionth time, the U.S. Embassy in any country. Well, I'm in Ireland. How come they won't let me do the interview in Ireland? Because they don't do that. Well, but what? But what? But what? It's not the role of an embassy to interview people for a resettlement under refugee program. That's the role of the PRM Bureau at the State Department. They have a whole bureau. They have a bureau for foreign relations, for embassies. They have a bureau for population, refugees, and migration. A whole bureau, a whole staff of people who do this for all over the world. They may be using embassy facilities to do their business, but it's not the embassy contacting you. It's PRM. Stop spreading fake news. You want to go see the population roughly like Cape Town? There's plenty of those. People whose days where they would like to be placed sound as if they're going on holiday. Exactly, Peter Furry. If the contact that contacts you does not ask for money, then it more than likely is not fake. Okay? I'm desperately in need of info on this issue. You can send me a WhatsApp, Vale. If I see it, I'll try to answer it. Are you allowed to run your business from your garage? There are restrictions, Vody. If you live in a homeowners association, you live in an apartment complex, there are restrictions. There are township and city and municipal ordinances that restrict businesses to certain areas, commercial zones. So are you talking about running a flip-flop manufacturing operation out of your garage? You'd probably get away with that. Depends where you live. My gosh, guys, you're asking me to answer a question when we have 50 states, how many 3,500, 2,800 counties around the country, how many tens and hundreds of thousands of municipalities, townships, and jurisdictions. I mean, it's impossible to answer such a question. That's a silly question. I'm sorry, I'm not making fun of you, but it's a silly question. How can I answer that question? You just call it South African refugees. It doesn't matter whether they're minority or not, just refugees. Michael Holmes says, ladies and gentlemen, can we take a moment? We need to be sensitive here. We need to be understanding. Michael Holmes is in serious need of medical care. Michael, we're going to consider doing a backup buddy for you, man. Folks, I mean, I don't mean to make light of the situation, but Michael is back in the chat. He likes to troll sometimes. He's not trolling here, but he says that the Democratic Alliance is the strongest party, and it cares about South Africa. I think that Michael needs some help. Does anybody know any counselors that might be able to help Michael? Talk him down from this crazy position. He thinks that the DA is the strongest party in South Africa with 21% of the vote in an election where only 31% of the population that was eligible to vote bothered to rock up and vote. He thinks that a party that's lost 11 to 14% of its voters since 2014 is in the strongest position in South Africa. I think that Michael is not doing well, man. I really don't think he's doing well. And just for that, could you guys help me out? I mean, since Michael's not doing well, could we hit the like button?
That was easy.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, Michael. I'm so sorry to hear that you're not doing well. You guys got the idiotic move where kids born later in the same year are placed in lower grade because their birthday is not before June. It's not idiotic. Why is that idiotic, Anime? Why is that idiotic? Our academic year runs from August, September to June. Why is it idiotic? Now, I was fortunate. I went to first grade at the tender age of 4 because my birthday was Christmas Day. They could have made me wait till I was 5, and then I would have been 6 in first grade. So I started first grade when I was 4 and turned 5. That's not idiotic. You don't understand our system. This was an agricultural nation. 90+% of the workforce was engaged in agriculture. And we needed summers off because that was summer. That was the season for planting. The spring, you plant and you harvest and you work and you build. Yeah, put fences out, herd the cattle around, feed the pigs, cut the wheat down, harvest the corn. So we needed work. And where we get to work? Our little brats. Our little brats were the workforce. That's why we had 16 kids each, back in the 19th century, early part of the 20th century. Half of them would die from childhood diseases. The other half would be labor. That's why we had them. Not for Ebola. And so we had school off from June, July, and August. That's the norm in America. And it's still the norm. It's antiquated, but it's our system. So that's not idiotic. That's not idiotic. That's just, you have to put kids in the right group. The school year doesn't start in January. It doesn't start in May. It starts in August for most people, or September. Ilona Mayer, I was listening to everyone. Are there farms in Georgia and Alabama? Yes, there are. Cotton down there and sugar cane and all kinds of stuff. Well, not sugar cane, sorry. Sugar beets. Colonels not work for the State Department, thus he cannot interfere with your questions you have for them. Yeah, I don't work for the State Department. I was married to a U.S. citizen and daughter is born U.S., but yes, it is not to say I will qualify a green card. No, okay. There you go, Jacques. Yeah, okay, well, thanks. So your daughter is under our, birthright citizenship, false interpretation of the Constitution's 14th Amendment. She's a citizen. Congratulations to her, Jacques. Well, actually, if you're married to a U.S. citizen, then she has birthright citizenship through her mom, not just being born here. Yeah, so she's got it double tapped. So she's an American, no doubt about it. Her mom was an American, so she's an American. That's how we look at it. Thank you for that, Jacques. Yeah, but it doesn't mean you're going to be able to come over here. Why not put your name in for the refugee program if you want to come? And you can tell them you want to go live where your daughter's at. Assuming you have a good relationship with your daughter. I don't know how that is. Maybe you don't. Wait for the call. Okay. So glad to hear many of us want to go to Idaho. I don't know why y'all want to go to Idaho. Okay. Sumari can help Michael do a reality check. Which is better, Delta or United Polaris? Neither one of them are great. Just if you can get on a 787, that's good. Many kids to make money now. People can't have kids because it costs too much. A friend's son married American. I don't know details, maybe Dallas, but wherever he stays, he can only have an indoor cat. Moved where you can work and suit you. Exactly. Boise and Idaho, it's in Idaho, not and Idaho in general, all in general, has a very young population, new jobs, AI, good work, outdoor life, conservative, low crime. Even the snowfall seems very mild. That's true, Ed. That's true. In South Africa, academic year is from January to December. Here they blame on emotional development, even though kids scores more than 85% of their grade in some. Yeah, so see, that's why I said it's not January. We start later in the year. So that's why. That's why. Nicholas, I'm honestly terrified on behalf of South Africa and the economy. Oh, you should be. You should be. South Africa's economy is going to be milked bone dry. Want to move to a state that is crawfish in abundance and cost effective. Okay, Alan. Take care, Corey. We'll go wherever they send us. That is the African way, not the schooling, but having so many children. Well, that used to be the American way, too. It was the human way. Do you have intelligence or view or assessment of the current threat level to minorities in South Africa? It's rising, Rob. Good. It's rising. And depending where you're at, it's dangerously high in some areas. Karen says South Africa's done. My father and sisters are American citizens, and we have a 10-year visa. Do you think this will help our case? No. It won't help your case at all. Nope. Because your case isn't tied to your family. It isn't tied to your visa. It's tied to the threat to your life and being a victim of unjust racial discrimination. That's what your case is about. Nothing else weighs on that. Now, having said that, if approved, having family in the U.S. could very well impact where you go, if you ask. So there you go. You're welcome, Liesl. Lee, Mother's Love will just be happy to be here. Cool. Okay, now let me look over here and see all the people's messages were deleted because they pissed off the moderators. Okay. How many South Africans have been refugees to date? No one knows the actual number. Probably approaching 100 at this stage. Texas, okay. Good for you. Okay. You thought you were delusional. Okay. We keep typing the same thing. Yeah, well, Nikki, you're turning into a troll. Well, Eddie's a troll. Good job by the moderators taking these people out that are being stupid. Ilona Meyer, thank you for the 50 Rand. Did I miss that one? Yeah, check your spam folder, folks, and your emails daily. Clean out the stuff that's spam and look for stuff because sometimes things wind up in spam folder. Okay, I'm just double checking on any more that I might have missed. The reason I put the glasses on because the screen over is different. Nicholas says he's surprised that the Colonel doesn't have an aneurysm by answering these questions. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. All right, so that's caught up as far as I can get. So, it's a pity that we did not receive an email receipt of the statement. Well, it's not a pity night. It's unfortunate, but it's not a pity. You didn't fill out an email. You didn't send an email to an email server. You filled out a Google form, which doesn't send an email. That's why. You have to understand what you're filling out here. A family member living in the USA, haven't seen her, spoken to her in 15 years. If the interviewer asks about her, I don't know her, so I don't want to ask her number. I don't know what you're asking me here. You're asking me if you should contact the person. That's for you to decide, not for me. So I don't know. Northern Idaho is crossover to Oregon if you love woodland forest and misty weather, but not being in Oregon, and consider it also. Northern Idaho is not Oregon. It's Washington is on the other side. And then North Dakota on this side. Your neighbor's gardener called you a crap and said he was going to hit me after telling him to stop wasting water. I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't say you were a troll, Eddie. Are you listening? I read your message. Boy, that's how you respond after I read your message? Good Lord. Wow. I read your message, but was deleted by my moderators, and then you thanked me by writing that? Jeez. Yeah, Montana on one side, yeah. And you got Wyoming down in the other corner, so anyway. Yeah, Idaho. I don't know why you guys are in love with Idaho. You won't be in love when you get to spend a winter there. Yeah, you won't be in love after you spend a winter there. Trust me. We've gone under 1,000 viewers, so we're getting close to 105,000. So if people you're here and you haven't subscribed, please do it. What's the name of the bunny on the back shelf? It's that's from the Netherlands. This one here. Yep, and this is Miffy. Miffy's what they call this. Miffy. Very popular. They have another nickname for it too, but this is the Santa outfit, Miffy. I picked this up at Skipple years ago. I like stuffed animals. So I put him up there because I put her, whatever, up there because of the Bugger Off Bunny song. Okay, Idaho. Texas weather seems closer to South Africa than the other state. Again, Shane Stander, that's incorrect. Texas is not Mediterranean. Texas is not many of the things that South Africa has. Some characteristics are the same, yes, but many are not. May I have a moderator with me daily in life to get rid of stupid people around me, says Sumarie. I honestly would give anything right now to be able to sleep properly. Live on a small plots, and every night we have people coming on the property. Yep, Texas is big. The weather varies all over. You've got deserts. You've got high desert chaparral. You've got plains. You've got, yeah. Brendan Swart says, so been a minute. So far, so good. Doesn't seem to be any major crimes here. Anyway, good luck to the refugees. They got the ticket. Now they must enjoy the ride. Been a minute. What do you mean, Brendan? Are you a refugee? Is that what you're trying to tell us? I come from a crew in 51 Celsius summers and lived in Philippines for all. I hate the warm weather. I got you, Ann. I'm with you on that one. Yanni Botsov, your opinion of Minnesota. It seems real nice in terms of work-life balance and lots of jobs. Minnesota is a lovely geographic location with beautiful outdoors, lots of opportunity in many different fields, but Minnesota is also full of demon rat leftists whose politics are anathema to conservatism, and it is full of lots of people who refuse to integrate into society, chief among them the Somalis. And so I have no interest in Minnesota whatsoever. You think the refugee program will get accelerated after the tariffs are implemented? The refugee program has already been accelerated, Crescent Glow. It's already been accelerated. You all just don't know about it because they're keeping it secret. Why Pikachu? Because I was in Japan and I kind of glommed onto the Pikachu phenomenon. I like him, yeah. I like Pikachu. And then the Pikachu Detective movie came out, and that was available at the Durban airport, and so for just a few $100, so I bought it. And then I hand carried it all over until I flew back to States and I put it in my bag. 2 farm attacks past week just down the road. I'm sorry to hear that, El Marie. Can you include some info on the financial video for refugees, like basic need to have costs? Can you include some info on the financial video for refugees? No, that's not what the financial video is going to be, Francois. I'll consider that, but there's enough to cover about people want to know how they can move their money around, which you can do. That's what the focus of that's going to be. I'll see how I'm doing more research on it, and also consulting with some financial planners on that side who know more about it. So we'll see how it goes. You're welcome, Crescent Glow. Can refugees sign up to serve military? Yep, I've also answered that many, many times. You can, once you have a green card. It used to be you didn't have to have a green card as a refugee, but now you have to have a green card. Once you have a green card and you meet the standards, you can become a military member. What about New Hampshire? Oh, I love New Hampshire. That's brilliant. New Hampshire's beautiful. It's a conservative state, but strangely they have Democrats in some important positions, unfortunately. But New Hampshire's a beautiful state. It has high taxes, though, but it's gorgeous. The Green Mountains are lovely. Yeah, it's a lovely place, New Hampshire. North Carolina, Charlotte, very popular, Garrett. Also a destination for some refugees, I've heard. But I'm not talking about South Africa, I'm talking about refugees in general because of the job market there. It's nice, but there's too many people down there for me. It's in the Research Triangle, and North Carolina's too humid. I do not like the humidity down there. I came back from Germany in 1994, and my sister was living in Wilmington, which is on the Atlantic coast. I stopped in Virginia, and when I entered Virginia, and filled up my car, filled it all the way up to the top. I think it was at a Costco. And then drove, it was a rental, drove all the way down North Carolina. Never got out of the car again until I got to North Carolina with the windows up. Arrived in Wilmington at a Hampton Inn in the evening, so the sun was already going down. And I got out of the car and I was like, 90+% humidity, almost 100 degrees, miserable. Virginia had been tolerable. Maryland was lovely. I got to North Carolina. It was horrible. And that was in September. No, not for me, man. Now, that humidity doesn't always carry all the way in. North Carolina, the western part, the mountains, the Appalachians. Oh, gorgeous. I love it. Derek Chauvin is still in prison, unfortunately. That's correct. Which state has the least amount of crazy storms like tornadoes? Okay, tornadoes are only in certain places. They can occur anywhere, but there's a tornado belt in the Midwest. So, I mean, all the rest don't have tornadoes by and large. Pikachu. Oh, you have the same plushie, Nola. Okay, cool. Dixie Alley. I don't know what's the Dixie Alley, Herman. What are you guys making up these terms at? Saw a video on YouTube of a South African interviewed an American couple about the... Yeah, I saw that too. I have some issues with that video. I had some issues with that video. Yeah, that's a South African that has been on the H-2A visas or something like that. He's got like 7,000 subscribers. Nothing wrong with his videos. They're enough for cons, but... and that was in English. But, I mean, that video is very misleading. Not intentionally, not by him and not by the couple. But the guy in the interview, he's pretty good. He says, hey, look, this is how we live. This is where we're at. It's different all over. And that's the bottom line. So, that's not exactly a statement on how things are, North Carolina is crazy for bees. If you say so. Port Elizabeth has the same humidity as North and South Carolina. That's not true. You're high. Napoleon Dynamite, where are you getting your information from? You are high as a kite. You are high as a kite. Port Elizabeth, I've been to Port Elizabeth, and the humidity has never been as oppressive as Charleston, South Carolina, or Wilmington, North Carolina. Dude, no. Wrong. And I've been to PE at different times of the year. Knoxville, it's all right. We drove to PA from Mardi Gras. It was a humidity shock. Yeah, oh yeah. I'll bet you. Yeah, the all-seeing guy. You drive from PA and you drive all the way down to Louisiana, you get out of the car, be like, what is your general about? General what? General discontent? General knowledge? What are you asking, Adele? There's no such thing as red states and blue states. That's a misnomer. That's a media creation. 2 minutes of that video and already came to the same conclusion. Yeah, that's Virtual Western Cape. I mean, look, I'm not dissing the video. I'm not saying they said anything incorrect, but it's very unintentionally misleading. It's being presented, people are viewing it as, well, this is how life is in America. It's not. The way those people live and the way I live, completely different. Their income, very different than mine. I don't live in some ritzy place, but I can obviously have a larger income than those folks. But anyway, so you can't generalize, and that's why I haven't done videos like that. That's why I haven't done videos like that, because people will glom onto that and they go, oh, look at this. You can live for a small amount of money, live frugally, and survive in America, or you can make $15,000 a month and have no money. It depends on who you are. Yeah, humidity's 93%. During the summer, it's 90 to 100. Well, I've been there in the summer. I guess because I was on the beach, I didn't get it. All right, Napoleon, I'll retract my "you're high" statement. You're not high. Maybe I'm the one that's high. Yeah, Virtual Western Cape. I think we're in the same boat there with that. Again, why are we debating where to go? I mean, look, I'm happy to answer the questions, guys, but it just leads me to believe. I mean, I understand why people ask these questions. I get it. I know you want to know where you're going. I mean, I moved 26 times in 36 years in the Army, and I always want to know where I'm going, but I never knew where I was going to live. Just figured it out when I got there. Michael Holmes is still here. He's doing well. Okay. Glad to see you're still around, Michael. Very windy and do not have high humidity. Exactly. That was my experience here, because you got the wind off the ocean. East London is a crap hole. You say so. I've never been. Utopi, what's up? What do I think of South Dakota? Well, South Dakota is flat prairie. The southeast corner is lovely, and Rapid City in the northwest side is, or the western side is lovely as well. Absolutely love it. Love when you do jigga jigga move, dance moves. What are you talking about? Are the houses insured against tornadoes? Well, yes, generally speaking, you are insured against that sort of thing, fire and earthquake and things like that. But flood insurance is a very different situation. In order to get flood insurance, you've got to make sure that you comply with building code standards. So, generally that's the case. 26 times, what an experience. Where's the best place you lived? Napoleon, the problem with best place where I've lived is it's time dependent. So I will say that even though I had a terrible childhood, living in southeastern Ohio, in Appalachia was actually pretty good for me in my maturation, running a dairy farm in my high school years, even though they weren't the very pleasant years, but very important. Best place I lived after that, Bad Kreuznach, 1984 to 1987 in Germany, was the bomb. I absolutely loved it. By the time I left there, it wasn't as cool anymore. Cold War was coming to an end, and Bad Kreuznach was changing. It was being filled up with illegal aliens from abroad who were abusive towards Germans, and I lost interest in it. But in the 84 to 87, it was just amazing. Every new experience when I arrived in Germany in 1984 was incredible. Going to the Italian ice cream shops and getting spaghetti ice for 5 marks or 4 mark 50. Wow. Imagine that was 3 marks to the 1. Well, at that time it was 2.62 to 1. So a 4 mark 50 spaghetti ice was like $2. It was incredible. I loved it. Walking in the Fußgängerzone, zone, going down to the Nahe River, seeing the house or the church where Karl Marx got married, the communist. Yeah, going to Rotenfels. It was amazing. But Bad Kreuznach today, not for me. Been there, sucks. Let's see. After that, where else has been really amazing? I loved working in Stuttgart and living in that area. But the little dorf that I lived in was okay. It wasn't great, but it was nice. Eichtal. It was actually called Grötzingen because there's 3 little Dörfer that are part of Eichtal. But Grötzingen is the town I lived in. That was lovely. Let's see what else. I enjoyed living in Sierra Vista my first time as a lieutenant back in 1989 in Arizona in the Chiricahua Mountains. That was lovely. Then what else? I liked living in Botswana, although I didn't like my residence. It was just down the street from Ian Kama's house, but I didn't like it. It was kind of old, and I hated the pool. It was such a pain in the ass. But yeah, it's time dependent, you know? Time dependent. Oh, you can buy flags anywhere. Spaghetti ice. Spaghetti ice is an Italian treat that's made with real ice cream. Spaghetti ice. Okay, let me find it here. Okay. So Wikipedia is calling it a German, but it's made by the Italians, which is true. So, German spaghetti ice, homemade spaghetti ice recipe. So this is fantastic. Oh man, I love this stuff. So spaghetti ice. If you've got vanilla ice cream, whipped cream, and strawberries, you can make spaghetti ice. I prefer Himbeeren, that's raspberries. A popular German ice cream sundae that looks just like spaghetti. And there it is. Look at that. Oh, so good. Ice cream looks like a plate of spaghetti. What? Yes. There you go. So good. So good. They put the whipped cream in the center. Oh. It's not for kids. It's for adults. Look at that. I'm going to have to make myself some spaghetti ice now. Oh, my goodness. Look at that. Ooh. You guys made me find spaghetti ice. There you go. A German ice cream dish made to resemble a plate of spaghetti. Ice cream is extruded through a modified spätzle press or potato ricer, giving it the appearance of spaghetti, then placed over whipped cream and topped with strawberry sauce to simulate tomato sauce, and either coconut flakes, grated almonds, or white chocolate. White chocolate shaving is the best. Yeah, besides the usual dish, the strawberries. It's also one we also find variations with different sauces. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was created by second-generation ice cream shop owner Dario Fonatella, Italian, in the late 1960s in Mannheim. It was inspired. What is this? Are people giving freaking memberships again? Okay. Yeah, so he used to ski in Cortina d'Ampezzo in Italy. Wow. So for many years, the dish was not well known outside Germany. It can only be found in some gelaterias and especially ice cream parlors. Yep. Since 2014, spaghetti has begun to appear as a novelty in more restaurants and has had some attention on social media. It is awesome. Spaghetti ice. Look at that. Yay, Bo. That is some good stuff, man. Oh, my goodness. Oh, spaghetti ice. Now I'm hungry. Now I have to go get some spaghetti ice. Oh, it is delicious. Hey, Juliana. Hey, Sticker. All right, so where does everyone buy the American flag? Everywhere you want. You can buy them online through Amazon. You can go to Walmart. You can go to hardware stores. You can get flags everywhere. It's a patriotic country. Here's an idea. It might not help your refugee process, but it can help you get stability better, do a career change. Okay. Let's help the Republicans and the refugees. Send them blue states. Spaghetti ice. Stay away from Yellowstone. There's dodgy stuff happening there. Yeah, the caldera is going to blow. Can we brine with hardwood, or do we have to use gas briquettes? It depends where you live, Sean. I've never heard of anybody not being able to burn wood. You want to burn wood? Go ahead. I like to burn mesquite when I'm in Arizona. Mesquite trees make fantastic barbecues or braais. Nice smell that comes off it and the taste. Think Alabama would be a good area to go for older people who would like the moderate climate and outdoors? I suppose. I don't know, Francis. What do you think of Arizona? Phoenix sucks. Phoenix sucks. It's out of control. It's too big. Phoenix and Scottsdale suck. Sierra Vista is okay. It's nice. It's down the Chiricahua Mountains, but then you go up also in the northeast of Arizona. It's nice. Yep, but Phoenix sucks. Safe to me was living in La Plata, Argentina for a year. It felt like I lived in paradise. Well, that's cool. What state would be a great state for refugees from South Africa to arrive in as the first place? I've answered this question repeatedly in the stream, Mr. Echo. I can't answer that question for you. Family in Virginia, how is it there? Virginia used to be lovely, but now it's kind of gone to the dogs with all the leftists moving there. I don't know. It depends. Virginia's a big state. Where? Southeast corner? On the border of West Virginia. The Shenandoah Valley is gorgeous. Shenandoah Valley is lovely on the western spine of Virginia. Yep, beautiful stuff. Martinez says, love your live stream. Greetings, Sonia. Thank you, Sonia. Army brat kid is from Charlotte now in North Point, Florida, but I haven't spoken to him as I didn't want many knowing my intentions. Okay, got you, Karen. Thank you for the 10 memberships again, Sonia. Wow, it's the second time. How does the hunting permits work? Every state's different. There's a lot of public land where one can hunt. Just wondering how the permits work. It depends. You just have to get a license, and you have to hunt in season, and you have to hunt for what you're going for. You can't just go for deer if it's you're only allowed to take buck. Then you're only allowed to take buck. And same with wild turkey season, bow hunting season. Just depends. Every state's different. You'll be classified refugee. Well, no one's going to know you're a refugee unless you tell them. Except you're a case officer. You know, that's why would you tell somebody that? That's your business. So it's just not going to happen. People won't know you're a refugee. You don't walk around with a sign that says refugee. You're just here. Your accent doesn't mean anything. America's full of foreigners. How do most Americans react to South Africans? Well, according to someone on TikTok, she got assaulted because she was a South African because you don't deserve refugee status, which made me automatically question the video. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but how many Americans have ever heard of refugee status? Would even know that South Africans? They don't even know. That seems to me like nonsense. So I did a video on that yesterday. Tornadoes scare you? Well, there's tornadoes here. I asked before, but not sure you saw it, to do with yearly taxes. What are yearly taxes, Ian Moore? I don't understand your question. Arlington, Virginia, that sucks. Beautiful place, but sucks. It's full of leftists. Now you torture me. No fridge now, so I have some bread rolls. And okay. Here, my squeak was similar. You're not going to freeze in the U.S. Just depends where you live. I don't know what your question is about taxes, Ian. We all pay taxes. If you work for an employer, they take payroll taxes out of your check every pay period. If you're self-employed, you have to pay estimated taxes 4 times a year. It sucks. I have to do that. So I don't understand. There's no taxes for refugees. There's taxes for people who work. There's taxes for people who own property. You have to pay property taxes. There's taxes when you buy things. There's taxes on petrol. Yeah, many states do require a hunter safety course. That's correct. Just depends. Do you drool over the screen of spaghetti ice? I have to make myself some now. Yeah, Caroline, I'm with you. This stuff is good. Good night, Vikas. It might be fake news, but according to the Washington Post, this... Oh, my goodness, Nicholas. We've covered that story several times here. I'm going to make a video on it. Okay. Thank you, Colonel, for your patience and information. It's gold. Thank you for your kindness. You're very welcome, Liz Reneval. Most states require, okay. Taking winter clothes over doesn't help. Your winter clothes suck. Your puffer jackets. I mean, you can bring it. You can wear it. Stay warm at the airport. But if you go to North Dakota in freaking January, your puffer jacket ain't going to do anything for you. I've been looking at how rental properties work. It seems many is depend on your credit score. How do you rent if your score is a credit score? It's a good question, Mustard Olive Coaching, but everybody has to develop. Not every place requires a credit score. That's true. And the refugee assistance case officer will help you get into a place that's all arranged. They know refugees, so that's all done. So it's different than normal. But deposit might still be required. Normally you have to have a deposit when you go into a rental place. So yeah, your point is correct. The rentals, your credit score has a big impact on your life. The better your credit score, the better your life. Yep. The lower your interest rates, the better chances of getting a job, better chances of getting a loan, better chances of getting a lower interest rate for the loan, and better chance of renting in a place you want to live because it shows you're responsible. The Americans look at a credit score as responsibility versus irresponsibility. That's really how what it comes down to. Does that help, Mustard Olive Coaching? Is there a specific email to use to send you something? Yeah. One of the mods put the email in the channel. Gosh, a lot of people don't understand how YouTube works. Please put the email address in the channel, one of the mods. Charlotte, North Carolina, get as hot as Vegas. It gets worse because Vegas doesn't have any humidity. It's 100 degrees in Vegas. It's like, oof, it's warm. It's 100 degrees in frickin' North Charlotte, North Carolina. You think you're going to die because you can't breathe. But it doesn't get to be 100 degrees that often. It's in the 90s. Mariki van Jasveld, thank you. Private land hunting license seasons might not be applicable. That's true. In Norway, they say it depends on the state. They say there's no such thing as bad weather, just bad clothes. Does the tax filing work similar to South Africa's e-filing services? Janine, gosh. You can file by paper, you can file electronically, but you have to pay for electronic tax filing. It's not free. It's free by paper and mail it in. They have a program where they allowed some Americans to file free their taxes based on their income, which is wrong. That's not fair. We should all be able to file for free. We're paying taxes. The government should be able to provide a free service to everyone. And then states. Some states most have electronic filing by now. I first did electronic filing. I pioneered it. Not me personally, but I was part of a pioneering project. The first entities were able to file electronically for tax returns with the IRS. U.S. Army, Fort Huachuca, 1990. I was part of the project. I was there. We filed electronically. We did people's turns. It was incredible. Samantha, thank you for the 14 Rand super chat. No license, no renewal. You're welcome, Ian. Leanne Rutherford says, I'm an American. Well, so am I, Leanne. Cool. Police officer in East London. Over 800 likes. Hit the like button. Yeah, 815 likes. Wow. Watch your Army videos in Africa and South Africa. You know more about our history than anyone here. Love your wisdom, passion, enthusiasm. Wish you were a Southern president. Well, thank you, Rolene. I'll tell you what, I would never give my American citizenship, but if I was offered presidency of South Africa, I'd think about it really hard. I see that you changed the Cosmos to the Hyacinth. Lindy, I did that because I knew you were going to comment. Why do you have the same painting all the time? I changed it. Yep. It's Vegas, Miami, or Texas because they have F1, says Anne Marie. Well, I figured that in your case. Okay, no car guards in America. Well, you can be a car guard if you want. Sold my place in Cape Town. IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. Yep, they will find you. Here in Kimberley, I've never seen so many people wearing K-Way puffer jackets. KZN, where I'm from, you don't even own a jacket. You can sponsor a person for a green card application. I'm sponsoring my son. Takes 7 years before he can come over. Who can sponsor? Art Queen Lisa. Who can sponsor? Oh, I can't sponsor anybody. Doesn't work that way. Who? What is your status that you can do that? When I lived in Philly, the murder rate would have substantially increased when it got above 90 years. I'm not surprised. Jason Bourne. Thank you for your awesome programs today. I got lots out of looking the blessed to it. Thank you, Andre Mostart. What is spaghetti ice? You're way behind in the watching the video on Thea. We answer the question. How long is the period between the acceptance and the refugee program? See, that's another thing. Somebody said I'm behind 3 minutes. But folks, a lot of people are watching the video behind. And then the questions sync up. So it really doesn't matter how I answer them. How long is the period between the acceptance program and leaving the United States? Nobody hasn't answered that question, John. That only came into effect on May 12th. It's only been a little over 30 days since that happened. Nobody has answered that. Person need to submit building plans to build a house on a ranch. Depends on your state and your ordinances. Everything's different everywhere. Good night, Karen. Yeah, okay. Only business still in East London was Mercedes. Sean Newton, 350 Rand. Thank you. Love your work. My burning question is, what is your calculated guess how many of us have filled out the statement of interest? I answered that earlier. It's still up there. Okay. All right. All right, guys. Proud to be an American, says Karen. And Rolene just gave 70 Rand. Thank you, Rolene. You, my lucky sister, applied for our green card and only get an answer in 2032 as per the website. Look at that. Seriously? That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, folks, that's going to do it for this week's Refugee Chat. I hope you found it useful. I need to go make a video now about that Washington Post story, which is full of misinformation. So I'm going to destroy it. Yep. Okay. And look for that coming up shortly. Hopefully people watch it. So just media, just getting stuff wrong here all the time. Wow. It suits their narrative. That's the problem. It suits their narrative. Cheers, everybody. Thanks. There are work opportunities for anyone who's capable of working regardless of your age, as long as you meet the minimum legal age to work. It doesn't have anything to do with age. Age discrimination is a federal crime. It doesn't mean it doesn't happen. It just means that anybody that commits it is likely to be sued and pay a high price for it. Lots of jobs. Lots of jobs.